So here we are again with the Center for Earth Education and Learning, the speaker series live. And I have the pleasure again to speak with Peter Maxwell-Slattery. Peter, welcome. How are you?
Henning, good to be good to be with you again, mate. It's great doing this.
Yeah, and again, our focus is on galactic education to learn about us, other species and planets around us.
Definitely.
And this time, Peter, I thought we focus on the so-called New Earth. And let's get directly in the first question. What messages do you receive about New Earth? Meaning messages maybe from our brothers and sisters or whatever you pick up from others who are more familiar with this New Earth topic.
So personally for me, it's been a little bit of a conglomerate of visions, experiences, telepathic communication with a Pleiadian, specifically Shiji, as well as the Elohim. The New Earth was a somewhat newer concept to me many years ago, and in the first couple of books, I think it is, Awakening and Operation Starseed, as well as the Shiji material, I learnt more with the readers about this, but there was specific incidents and experiences where there was visions of the New Earth and communication relayed to me about it, and it's a lot more complex and layered, though I think simplistic, if we can be childlike in our nature of thinking about this rather than linear once delving into this. So it's a little bit of experience, a little bit of visions, and a little bit of communication relaying when it comes to the New Earth subject and topic.
Then let's go to the second question, Peter. What do our sisters, brothers in space communicate about New Earth?
Well, if we can go into it, like I was saying, being childlike. Now, there is the New Earth. Now, the New Earth is even mentioned in the Bible, the New Heaven. One will go, one will stay. There's references to different yugas, different cycles throughout different cultures, 25,000 plus year cycles that we go through. Now, it is a process that we're going through an ascension individually and as a collective. It is an individual thing, it is also a collective thing, and we could say even a greater collective thing that not just many worlds go through, but the universe as a whole, as the way I could describe it, all our higher self are cells of God, source, creator, whatever you want to deem that intelligence as. Now, we've got lower frequencies and higher frequencies in each density. Now, the way I equate it is, imagine the neck on a guitar as a density, and each string is a different dimension within that density. Going into the New Earth and the visions that I've had, there are colours that we do not experience here. There is clarity and also geometry. It's almost, we could say, like a 8K television, very pristine, but there is geometry, but it's much clearer than here. Here is very much like a 70s coloured television, and when you're experiencing not just these visions, but what I've experienced of the New Earth, it is pristine, and even entities and intelligences that reside right next to us that you won't experience unless you're in that higher frequency state, which some will say is 5D, 5 dimension or 5th density. There's a lot of confusion around the densities and dimensions, and I don't even say trust me on it. I'm learning through my experiences and my higher self as I could say decoding what I know on a higher self level through my experiences, which the intelligences are assisting me with. Now, it is all about frequency. We could say that the hippies were right, that it's all about frequency, man. So there is that component that it is about frequency. Either way, everyone is going to a higher state of consciousness, and we're going through a dark night of the soul and a purging on a collective level for the collective to do it, but there will be individuals within the collective to go and pass the, we could say, raising of consciousness that the rest of the collective are going into different states. You've got the rainbow body, you've got the Merkaba, and they could be surpassing even the New Earth, going to higher states of other Earths that reside right next to us, and or different star systems, completely different realms that we've all come down through the planes and dimensions and densities to experience Earth human reality. So there is a lot to this, but those that don't go to those higher states, it's not that they're not good people, it's just not their time yet. Their own soul evolution process has not allowed for them at this time to go to those higher states, and some of this is agreed upon by themselves, but when they get into the Earth human experience, they might have put out for the deal to help uplift human consciousness to go to the new Earth. And what I've been told is that some will actually stay here to assist and be teachers to those that didn't go through a higher ascension process. So you've got going to the new Earth, but then you've got these other realms of existence that you can go to, or star systems. It's a very layered topic, and I'm trying to compress this in such a short period. Like I always say, I hope it's making sense the way that I'm trying to articulate this and get this across. But to achieve those higher states, it is about your own soul evolution, about doing your own healing, your own forgiveness, your own clearing, dissolving your own distortions on yourself and what you have on others, and your own preconceived notions, and tapping back within to the heart space and being the best version of yourself. That's you doing your part for the ascension. And yes, that might be an individual thing, but it wears off on the collective by you doing your part.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Peter. And let's go to the third question. Why is New Earth relevant for all?
A very individual, you could say, perspective on this. For a majority of humanity at this time, they wouldn't even be thinking about this. We could say some that have looked in the Bible, that have looked at different cultures about these new beginnings, the age of enlightenment. It's something that people would like to experience, but may not be on their radar with the different wars going on, the different trials and tribulations that humanity are facing in so many different areas. But I think when it comes down to it, when we are born and we incarnate into this experience, all any of us want is just to be loved. That's a natural thing. When we transition, going back, and we depart this world, everything drips away and it's all about love. I could have loved more. I wish I was loved more. And it's holding that space for those that go through these experiences. If you have the opportunity to do that, it's about holding that space for them to be loved when they're in that state. But it's about creating heaven on earth now, and we do that through love, through compassion and non-judgment. And it's not waiting for the new earth, it's bringing the new earth to us and living in it right now from within here. Of course we can go to those states, but this is about transformation, becoming the best version of ourselves. It's like going through school, and then at the end of school you get a certificate. Yeah, we could go into that about the programming and what have you and all that, but you wouldn't get to where you got to go unless you do the hard yards. And majority of souls have actually done these walks many times, have got trapped in the illusion of separation and cycled themselves here on earth. And others have just come here because they're like, all right, they need more souls to come in and assist with this evolutionary process, and they're here to help uplift it, and they lose themselves in the identification game when they come here. So it's really about being the best version of ourselves through trials, through tribulations, and finding potential within. But even when you hit that age of love, that new earth, that new experience, like I say to a lot of people, they think the ETs have the answers, and as I say, they're the bottom 5% with us, even if they're in different densities. They're also striving for ascension, the next level for them. So even when we raise our frequency, that's not it. There's many mansions in God's kingdom. They're all there to be explored, but it's through the inner work that we get to experience and explore them. So people wake up in their own timely fashion. And if we all want a better world for ourselves, for our children, for our family, and for us as a collective, that is something that I could say is important, and why it's important is being aware of the new earth and striving to experience that and also bring that into the now from the heart space. I will say as well that after the fact, I wasn't aware of this, but it was brought to my attention by a family member and some other friends. Dolores Cannon goes into a lot of good material that we could say mine is very much a shortcut or a condensed version of some of what she's written in the books, the Convoluted Universe series. So there is a focal point there that may bend some people's minds into some concepts that I'm well acquainted with through my own experiences. But like I say, we don't want to live in the future, we want to be in the present. And by being the best version of ourselves in the present, we bring that future to us now. And it's being in the present moment that's important for the now, and being our best version that will bring that new earth into the now.
Yeah, well, thank you, Peter. And let me do it a little different as we spoke already. In terms of coming to a conclusion, but I have one more question also. Yeah. I think I hope we can do more of these interviews. That's
definitely,
one.
Definitely.
Then second, of course, I will again reference your website and grade you already, or in this case here, what you touched upon, highlighted here, Dolores Cannon. But one more question I got actually here before, or still, is the question, and it's probably just to highlight that what we already touched upon in previous interviews. But the question is, how can everyone individually contact or communicate with the sisters and brothers or source itself? In other words, with the ones who are near and dear to us and are willing to help us?
Great question. They're always with us. Now, not only do I have a book, it's not a sale thing, I've also got the meditation for free online. If they go to petermaxwellslattery.com or my YouTube channel, there is a Connecting with Your Spirit and ET Guides meditation. There is also Initiating Contact meditation. Very timely, because I've been speaking about this the last few days. You do not want to go down this path with you initiating it unless you are well acquainted with clearing and shielding techniques. Also, I've got free clearing techniques on the website. Jaya Sanctuary, as well as ecitiaustralia.org. James Gilliland's got some at eciti.org as well. If you are opening up and you're not specific, you can attract some dark entities and really screw and divert your path. Now, I went through years of boot camp, being known in the paranormal community and doing clearings and investigations, and I had a lot of boot camp to be where I am now. A lot of dark stuff. I found out later it was boot camp to bring out the potential of what I've got within me to be able to assist others. So, first thing, clearings on the website, also clearing the space, which is being well received by many parents as well, getting their kids to listen to it. I get told all the time, most nights, for kids listening to it. It's on Spotify as well, so clearing the space, Peter Maxwell Slattery, also the websites, but sit down. You don't have to do them exactly the way that I'm doing them. They are a template for you to work with it in your own way, your own version, calling upon God, Source, Creator, whatever you decide. Different saints, sages and masters and Buddha or Yeshua, Jesus. It doesn't have to be a certain way. It's what works for the individual. But from that place, what I'd ask you to think about is when you're doing these practices and then you go into the meditation as an example, just even with the thought and intention of first doing a clearing, thinking of a loved one or a happy time in your life, bringing in that love energy and feeling it and expanding it through imagination, which is creation. It's from that place of being the observer. Now, I don't just say observing the senses, which is part of it. It's observing thoughts, ideas, epiphanies, concepts, visions, sensation on the body, the clear senses. Through observation, we can realise that we've actually been in contact the whole time. ideas drop into our head. It doesn't mean you don't have your own ideas and your own thoughts, but you'll look back and go, geez, I've had my guides and my team working with me my whole life. Through different ways that you start to notice that you feel a tingling on the crown, the back of the neck, the shoulder, the temperature changes within your environment, and you get thoughts, ideas, impressions. You see, if they're going to work with you in a linear mind, they'll give you a thought, an idea, a concept. That is what I call a chapter heading, and then there is a rest of the paragraphs that may integrate simultaneously, instantaneously, or it may take a few hours a day or 15 minutes. Could take weeks. But it's not in a way that we are doing this. I can have a 45-minute conversation in a second with an extraterrestrial. It may take me a bit to unpack and go into intricate details of that communication. But it's through thoughts, feelings and visions that I'm interfacing, even with my eyes open if it's a physical contact or I'm seeing a craft. Sometimes I'm on the craft in my mind's eye, in a conscious state, as well as being on the ground looking at it and or filming it. So when I'm in that state, or even physically, I can be getting bombarded with visions, thoughts and feelings all in sync with the information they're trying to relay to me. This is why it's been a lot of practice and remote viewing and meditation for years that I've worked with finding the mechanics of how to help others and assist them with this. Because even though I was having my own contact in the early days and I could understand it, I didn't have aha moments until years into it of how the mechanics actually worked. And I found myself asking other experiences, well, did you communicate back? No. It's not hard to communicate back. It's just a thought. You're going to receive thoughts, feelings, visions, impressions back. But it's training yourself. Just like so many people want to film a craft, when they see a craft with me, most of the time their jaws drop and they don't know what to do. And I'll say before it, I'll film it if I see it. A lot of them don't, because they're taken aback by the experience. So being the observer and being able to sit in that observer space, whether in meditation or real-time contact with physical materialization or manifestations of beings and their crafts, that is the key to contact. Otherwise you get taken aback and it's just a one-way dialogue, even though they may want to have a two-way conversation with you and converse. If you're taken aback, it's really just going to be on a higher self-level state that you'll even communicate. So this is something we could probably do a specific episode or interview on, because it is an in-depth thing. It's very layered that I could go on and on with this, because that's why I've done a couple of books on this alone, with connecting with your spirit and ET guys and CE5, because it is not only safeguards, but to point out how you've already had contact all along takes one a bit of going through and understanding and then experiencing it in real time that, geez, I have been. But like I say, you don't trust them all either. They have to prove themselves, and it's through a recycle of truths that unfold in physical reality that you can start to do that. But if they start to make out you're the Messiah, you're a special one, this, that and the other, I'd be really checking what the source is. If they guilt trip you, I'll be checking those sources, because your real team will not do that. They've got love, compassion, non-judgment. If they've got to step in, if it doesn't cross universal law, they'll do it whether you know it or not. But we've got to really do this ourselves. It's those that are going to guilt trip you and you got to do this, you got to do that, that I'll be very wary of.
Thank you, Peter. And I hope this is beneficial for all. And I somehow got this little kind of conclusion to say, all for all the best, and all the best for all, as I said before. And again, Peter, thank you so much, and looking forward. Yeah, and as you said, let's do a session, kind of interview around that. Looking forward.
Definitely. No, it's been a pleasure, Henning, like always.
Thank you.